All right. Let's see if this is sounding good. Is it looking good? How is everybody doing today? Hi, everybody. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and move my chat over. Let's see here. Just a few things I got to do here that I didn't do earlier because I just got done with my therapy session, guys. Yeah. Got to tell you all about it. Tell you all about it. Here, let's see. Let me just go ahead and add the chat for you all. Which, by the way, question for you all. Do we still like the chat? Do we like the chat up on the screen? I know that we put it up earlier because we got a lot of requests for them. And so I've been doing it ever since. There we go. Here, let's go ahead and add the live chat in there as well. All right. Yeah, so I've been putting up the live chat ever since because I had so many requests. But let me know if you still like it, if you still think it's helpful for everybody who's watching the replays. I do also include the live replay as well so that you don't have to, be squinting when you're on your screen like, "Huh? What did so and so say? What does that say?" Right? Because that's me. When I'm watching my live streams playback, I'm squinting. I'm like, ah, ha, ha, it's so funny. Wait, is that what they said? I'm just over here squinting using a magnifying glass. But I hope you guys still like it. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Very, very sorry. I do apologize. I don't like to schedule something and then push it back. I don't like doing that. But I had to because I didn't realize, hello, it's my therapy session today. Yeah. And since this is with the VA, any see guys, any God, what's the word I'm looking for? Any appointments, right? Any appointments that you have with the VA, you have to show up for, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If the VA calls you and they're like, "Hey, veteran, we have a spot for you in 30 minutes," you take it. Otherwise, it's going to be another 10 months until you're seen. And by then, you have internal bleeding. All right. And so with the VA, if for some reason you cancel an appointment and then you show up the following month with internal hemorrhage, they're going to ask you to wait. They'll be like, sorry, veteran, but let me see. Our records show that you canceled your last appointment. So you're going to have to wait until the doctor is available. And then you tell them, "Oh, hold on, but I'm bleeding. Literally, I'm bleeding internally. I'm dying. I'm seeing stars." And they'll tell you, "Sorry, first come, first served." Okay. Nobody told you to cancel the last appointment. And so, yes, that's how brutal it is working with the VA. so, so hey, I had to make it to my appointment. Otherwise, I'd probably be hemorrhaging somewhere. Help me, please, doctor. And the doctor checks. "No, sorry. Here it shows here, veteran, that you were 5 minutes late to your last appointment. Sorry. First come, first serve. Next." Yeah. So here we are. Yes. Yeah, yes, VA is hardcore. Yes. Very, very hardcore. And yeah, I realized today, I was like, why did I write 2 p.m. on my calendar? Why do I have such a late live stream on Thursdays? Duh. I completely forgot. I have my therapy session with my therapist. Duh. Mhm. Yeah, VA don't play. VA don't play. Thank you all so much for being here. We are going to be looking over some more of Nicole Kessinger, Chris Watts, and their plan the morning of August 13, 2018. Now, I did want to keep going down the Troy McCoy interview. And the reason for that is because we know that Troy McCoy said a lot of things that stood out. We also know that he went back to the location where Chris Watts supposedly took a dump. And there's just like a lot of weird things that are not adding up, right, with Troy McCoy. And so I do want to listen to what he says, see if there's any other things that we can piece together. Maybe we can connect the dots somewhere in our calendar. And I just really wanted to take a closer look at Cervi 319 and what was going on that morning. Because many people do believe that there was an explosion theory. They do believe something about an explosion that morning, which is something that I will go ahead and admit, it's not something that I ever really believed. Up until we started to see more activity around this weird, I don't know, the event that happened, really, we see the leak at Cervi 319. We see the fire stick being dropped off, and we see people show up. It's just, there's a lot of moving parts that haven't quite made sense yet, and so we're going to be looking into it. All right, we're going to be looking into it and trying to see if the explosion theory is plausible to begin with. Elizabeth Brown, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining, members. Welcome. Welcome to Silver. And yeah, thank you. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, before we get into it, it does really help me out when you like this live stream and when you share it. Yeah, a lot of things are going on with YouTube right now. And so yes, the best way to support your favorite content creators is to share and like these live streams. And if you want to support me directly, yeah, go ahead and check out our members. Check out our memberships. You do get access to a lot of different perks. And it is a way to support me and the channel directly. And of course, super chats are always welcome too, guys. Thank you so much for everybody, to everybody who has supported my channel in the past. But yeah, thank you all so much. And yes, let's go ahead and listen to Troy McCoy. Last time we heard something about, I don't know, the way that he showed up and all this nonsense. And again, we're going to be looking at the day of the murders, okay? This is what we're going to be looking at right here. So it's going to be in between the freak out, or sorry, not the freak out text. Here it is, the blue. So it's going to be when Chris Watts arrived at Cervi up until the point that he leaves Cervi. Okay, so this is what we're going to be looking at, because this is where a lot of those things didn't make sense. All right. This is where the staged call happened, and then the phone was magically turned off. Who turned it off? We don't know, right? So that happened while he was at Cervi, and then there was another staged call while he was at Cervi, but at the same time, all of these other text messages were being sent by Shan'ann's friends, and they were not being received because the phone was off. So we're going to be looking into this based on what Troy McCoy says. And please, yeah, if you guys have information on Troy McCoy or anybody else, right, please go ahead and drop it in the chat and we'll look into it. All right, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into Troy McCoy's interview.
Everybody carries a crescent wrench in their back pocket. Whenever I arrived on location, he used his shovel to dig out the hole right there at the bypass line.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I got there, they'd already verified that the bypass line or back pressure line, whichever one that is, failed, and that it was leaking underneath ground, because you could see like a little bitty puddle right there. And Chad McNeil went and got his lockout tag out. He put it on the bypass line, and I think they did the bypass line at the separator to make sure it was locked out in both directions, so pressure couldn't get in there and feed any more up, so we wouldn't have any further contamination. And then after that, Chad and Melissa, they pulled away since I parked over here with Chris, and Chris had went back to his truck to check his phone. So I grabbed a shovel from right here and I walked it back over to his pickup and handed it to him. And he said, no, there's still, since that stain's still there and the dirt's already stained, we're going to put that back in there. So then he filled back in the hole, and then he came back over to the pickup. And then after that, he left first because I told him I grabbed the gate. So he got out of here, went through, and then I followed behind him and I closed the gate behind me.
Okay.
I wish we could see what he's pointing at, because it sounds like he's talking to the detectives, right? And he's pointing at something. He's like, yeah, I was over here and then I drove this way and then I saw him here. But we don't really know what he's pointing at. Here, I'm going to pull up one of the maps that I think he might be pointing at, right? Which is one of these. And so I do wonder if he's saying, yeah, like when I arrived, Chris was parked here and then I grabbed a shovel, right? And then Chris went into his pickup truck and he did this and the other thing. And right, he's explaining this, but we don't know what he's pointing at. I really wish he was pointing at something and we can see it. I don't know. What do we think he's pointing at, you guys? The way that he's explaining it does sound like Chris, right? He said Chris was the first one. He took off first. He took off at around whatever time. The GPS data shows us that Chris and everybody else took off at around 9:30 from Cervi. So they were there for a while doing whatever it is that they were doing. Yeah, what do you guys think? Drone went to Cervi prior to his confession. Wonder who informed them for immunity. Very, very interesting, Cosmo Bear. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, a drone went to Cervi prior to his confession. Now, I do wonder if a drone went out to Cervi prior to his confession just based on the GPS data. Remember that this was the very first time ever that anybody that works at Anadarko just showed up straight to Cervi, right? It's not something that they normally did. They didn't just show up and went straight to the field. So it could be, right? Because his family is missing. They checked the GPS and they saw, really weird. Why did Chris Watts just go straight to Cervi this one day that his family goes missing? How weird, right? What a coincidence. So then they looked this up and saw that he was there at 6:53 in the morning. Very strange. Is it a possibility that he disposed of his family out here, right? That's how I'm seeing it. But who knows? Who knows? Rourke did mention something about a bombshell, right? Bombshell discovery, he says, supposedly, that Nicole Kessinger told him. What do we think about that bombshell discovery? What is this bombshell thing that Nicole Kessinger told Michael Rourke that warranted her immunity? What do we think happened there? What did she tell Rourke that was so bombshell that she then got protection? Yes, I want to know what the bombshell evidence was, right? That they had to protect her. What is this bombshell evidence? We've speculated that she knew where the children were, right? She knew that Bella and Cece were in the tanks. That is the only bombshell evidence that somebody like a mistress can have, right? Is that why they drove or they flew the drones out? Could it be a combination of the two? Who knows? I just mentioned that. Yes, exactly. Yes, crime deep dive. See? Great minds think alike. We all think the same here, right? I just reading through your comments, even just yesterday's video, some of you are like, oh my God, you say exactly what I'm saying at the same time that you say it. So, hey, who knows? We're all sisters from other misters and brothers from other mothers. It seems like. All right, let's continue.
So when you get there,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, let me back up.
Yeah, whatever you need.
So you get there, Chris is parked here.
Yes, sir.
And say who else was there already?
Chad McNeil,
Chad.
already on location, and
Okay, so
Melissa Parrish. They were already there
Chad.
before me.
And Melissa are both on scene as
Because Cody Roberts was over at the 1029. Cody was already out of Cervi, but he was at the 1029 because he was going to start that pumping unit.
He said he was already out of Cervi, just like generic ranch or at this site.
Well, no, not at this site.
Okay.
Cervi Ranch is, the way we speak upon it, is consistent of those 7 sites at Cervi. And the 1029, if you enter the gate from the south, which I'm sure you guys did when you went out there, because that's the only entrance that they are supposed to allow us to go through. As you go up, instead of curving back to go to the 319, you continue to go straight. And there's like a little riverbed right there that you cross over and go back into, and that's where the pumping unit is.
okay. All right, so you get on scene. Chad and Melissa are already there.
Yes, sir.
And Chris.
See, this is the other thing is how did Chris do all of this knowing that his coworkers, they were not at Cervi 319, but they were already at Cervi Ranch. So he was doing all of this, still disposing of his family while his coworkers were in the general area. Of course, it's very, very remote. Okay. Cervi 319 and this entire area is remote. There's nothing out there. And so, yes, it's a very humongous area, but still, right? Still, it's like you're committing a murder at a mall, but you're at the other end of the mall and you have employees coming in already, right? You have employees on the other side of the mall already opening up the Apple store. They're opening up the Victoria's Secret, and you committed a murder on the other side of the mall at, I don't know, Wiener Schnitzel or Wetzel's Pretzels, right? They're still in the area. So can you imagine trying to get rid of an entire family while you're realizing that your coworkers are already showing up in the area? That's weird. Yeah, and it is. Yeah, Cervi is huge. Definitely nothing like a mall, right? But that is just, I don't know, that's the only example that I can come up with. But still, the fact that he's doing all of this and he's moving rapidly, right? He's like, "Oh god, shovel this out. Let me, move these bodies here." And he's doing all of that while his coworkers are driving a few feet away from him. That is insane. That's crazy to think about. And again, this is another reason why I don't think he was doing this by himself, and I think that it was pre-Doug, right? To give him enough time to be able to do all this and not feel the anxiety of his coworkers nearby. But that's just me. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? That's just how I'm thinking about it. Like I would be panicked. I would be completely panicked. I'm over here trying to get rid of bodies at the Wetzel's Pretzels. And then all the Apple employees are like, "Hey, what's up, Rox?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just getting the nacho cheese to work. It's not working." Yeah, yeah. Could you imagine? Yeah, go back. Yeah, go back to your store. Yeah, nothing to see here. We usually open at 8 a.m. We're not opening at 8 a.m. today. We open at 10. Sorry, yeah. Sorry. The cheese machine isn't working today. Wow. That would be that would be really, really hard to do, especially someone as stupid as Chris, because he would have that face, right? He would have the face. Our cheese machine isn't working today. You believe me, right? It's not working. And so, of course, how is he going to get away with it? Let's continue.
Chris.
Yes.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Do you see what Chad and Melissa are doing
They were just over there by the bypass line.
over here?
Yes.
Over here.
Yeah, over there by the bypass line.
Okay. We're all three of
They
them
were
over here?
confirming that. Yes. Whenever
Okay.
I pulled up on location, all three of them were over there.
Okay. Anything seem unusual?
No.
Just out of the
No.
ordinary?
No. Well, as soon as I pulled up, and I talked to Chad McNeil about this because he remembered me making a comment that I didn't even remember. As soon as I walked out on location, I got out of my truck, and Chris is usually fairly decently dressed man. He's always got on pretty tight fitting FRs, like really, like he wears Ariat
What's
pants.
FR?
Fire resistant.
Resistant
Okay.
clothing. He usually wears that. He was wearing a blue shirt that was baggy, looked like he'd had like an older shirt for him.
So it wasn't a fire resistant shirt?
It was.
It was.
It
okay.
was a fire resistant shirt, but different companies make different styles of t-shirts.
Mhm.
And this is not something that, I was used to seeing him in. It was kind of a baggy t-shirt.
Okay.
And then he had a pair of pull-on boots. And from every time that I can remember out in the field, he had an old pair of boots that he was lace up, so the toe was about to come off of.
Mhm.
And then here about 3 weeks ago, he bought a brand new pair of Red Wing boots down at the FR store
Okay.
here in Platteville, and he always wore those. So when I seen him, on those, I was like, "What, you slumming it today, bud?" And he laughed, and that was it. That was all it was.
What? He's slumming it today? So even the clothes that he was wearing, his coworkers noticed right off the bat, "Oh, he's usually well dressed. He usually shows up in full tuxedo," right? Not really, but he's apparently more well dressed than how he showed up that morning. He was slumming it, apparently. He was bumming it. And even that was a dead giveaway to the coworkers, is what it sounds like, right? What do we think about this? Yes, Kay. Yes, if he had dug the hole that morning, the other workers would have seen sweat and dirt all over him. Exactly. Exactly. This is Chris Watts again, right? You need two hands to shovel, and then it's Chris and his big potato head. He's gonna be like, "Oh, this is so hot," right? And he's gonna be getting dirt and debris all over his face. And so, yeah, it's another thing that we have to take into consideration when we are trying to figure out if he dug the hole that morning or not, right? It's right here. The circle, that is where Shan'ann was buried. And the distance from here to here is about 100 feet, okay? So again, how did he do all of this? Pull up, dig a hole without getting his big potato head dirty, and then dispose of the rest of his family without anybody realizing anything. He's not disheveled, right? He's not sweaty. He's not smelly. He looks like a bum, apparently. But other than that, like he's fine. Oh, I just showed up. I was working on the oil leak. Don't mind me. How was he able to do all that without being seen? And yes, Cosmo Bear, I did see. I don't know how NK would be here other than, if she was hiding in the car or something, or if she was like hiding behind a bush. I don't believe that Nicole Kessinger was physically at Cervi 319 that morning. How was she going to get away with it? Was she going to be like low crawling in the mud, right? Like we're in World War II. Hey, Chris, do you see me? Ah, right? Like, of course not. She's not going to be crawling to get away. So I don't believe that she was actually there, but it does really sound like this hole was dug up way before the morning of. But what do you guys think? I know I've asked this before. I think the majority of chat, we all believe that the hole was dug either that Friday or the Saturday before. Yeah. He was probably nervous as hell seeing that he took a poop at work. Yuck. And I still wonder if that's even true. Or maybe he just said that just, because again, he's lying to his parents. He lies to his parents because he doesn't want to tell them how disgusting of a monster he is. He doesn't want to admit that he murdered his own children. And so then he'll make up other things. Oh, it's just because my tummy hurt. I just went to take a crap in the back. Oh, no worries. Nothing to see here. Right? He's also telling his dad, "Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the girls didn't fit through the top. Maybe they went through the side." He's trying to confuse the only people who believe in him. That's what I believe. What do you guys think? Yeah, he put her in a shallow grave, so I doubt he spent much time. Very, very shallow. It was like, what, 3 feet? It's not even that deep. 2.5 feet. The other boots were disposed of in the dumpster. The dog handlers ignored. So much evidence was ignored. I can't believe this. I can't believe that all of this evidence was ignored, even the boots. Troy McCoy just talked about how Chris bought himself a different pair of boots and the police didn't even look into it. That's crazy. Let's continue.
Was. But I didn't notice that it was, out of the ordinary. I just figured, okay, well, if he didn't get a lot of sleep last night and he was in a rush, he just grabbed what he had and went out to location.
Okay.
But I think it was a pair of Red Wing pull-up boots, because I think the only style of boots he wears is Red Wing.
Okay.
What color was the shirt?
It was blue, a very dark blue, like a navy blue.
Okay. And that shirt was different than the shirts that he usually wore.
Yes, well, usually he wears I believe it's Ariat that makes most of ours that come from down there. They're a little bit better looking.
What's the company name again?
Ariat.
How do you spell that?
I have no idea.
Is that the shirt you were wearing when we first spoke to you?
Okay. So something that Troy just said that stood out to me was the blue shirt. I don't know. Do we remember Chris Watts mentioned the blue shirt as well when he's talking to the investigators at prison? He told them that he woke up that morning and that he woke up Shan'ann and that he was already wearing jeans and a blue shirt. And then that he woke her up to break up with her, basically. Hey, Shan'ann, wake up. I have something to tell you. I don't want to be married anymore. And then supposedly he did that while he was wearing a blue shirt. So he does remember the shirt he was wearing. Notice he remembered the color. Troy remembers the color. Very specific. This blue shirt. What's up with the blue shirt? Again, it could mean nothing, but I think the only reason it sticks out is because of how detailed they are. He's saying a dark blue shirt. It stood out to him that he was wearing a dark blue shirt. Why does that stand out? Other than he was looking like a bum? Isn't that weird? Or is it just weird for me? You guys let me know if I'm looking too much into this blue shirt, but I think it's weird. He said he put on a blue shirt that morning too. Yeah, exactly, Cosmo Bear. Yes, exactly. He said he put on a blue shirt that morning. And now here we're listening to Troy McCoy say the exact same thing, bringing up the blue shirt. What is the importance of this blue shirt? And again, it can mean nothing, but it's because it's been mentioned twice already. And Chris remembers the color of it so vividly. I was wearing blue. So what? Isn't it weird? Yeah, let me know. Yeah, here. Should I add a poll here? Let's just do a let's just do a poll. Right. Let's the question will be, do we think it's weird that they keep mentioning the blue shirt? All right. Is the blue shirt weird, right? And by weird I don't mean, oh, is it a weird shirt? Right? Weird because it's glow in the dark. No. What's weird is that it keeps being mentioned. So what is the significance here? So I'm just going to put significance, right? What is the significance? And then here, the other option will be, I don't know, for everyone else who doesn't know what to think about the blue shirt. All right, there we go. And yeah, like I said, the only reason I want to bring it up is because I don't want to get stuck on something that means absolutely nothing, right? If the blue shirt means nothing, then we don't want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what's up with the blue shirt. If it's just, it's just a shirt. But if it does have significance, that is where we should go down the rabbit hole. You see, you catch my drift. You get what I'm setting down. You're picking it up, right? Picking up what I'm setting down. You guys let me know. Because again, this is just how my brain works, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole if it means absolutely nothing. But let's continue.
Okay.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
style of t-shirts.
Okay.
Is
So
what
that's
we
a more form
shirts.
shirt.
Yeah,
Okay.
they fit a little bit closer and stuff like that. But this other shirt he had, because like you guys had said the last time, he's lost a lot of weight here in like the last 6 months to a year. So I think it was one of his old shirts that he had, in his closet. Because I even have some old shirts like that that are baggy as heck.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So he's wearing his old boots.
Again, why do we care about the shirt that was in his closet? This is weird. I'm gonna write it down just because I think it's weird. Even if it's not, whatever. What's gonna happen? I lose out on an hour of my day going down a rabbit hole that means nothing. Hey, it happens. Okay, it happens sometimes. Show the clip of him coming home. Oh, to see what he's wearing? Oh my gosh, yes. Here, I know I had it up. It's somewhere in here. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Here, let's go ahead and yeah, I'll go ahead and pull it up. Yeah, thank you.
Boots.
I would say they're
older.
I would say they're older because they're not his new ones. And I've only seen him that I've noticed wear lace ups. And these were
And these are
slip-ons.
slip-ons.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the reason what drew my attention to him is it drives me nuts if anybody tucks their boots or their pants inside their boots and the boot deal's showing. That drives me insane. So he had it like half tucked. It was weird because one side was down and the other side was tucked into his boot.
Okay.
So it instantly drew my attention.
And that's unusual for him. Is
Yeah,
he
well, yeah.
he generally,
He's
when you
generally
see him, okay,
clean cut.
let me see if I can make this one make sense. So generally when you see him,
So what he's explaining then is that Chris was a bit disheveled that morning, right? Is that what he's saying? That he wasn't used to seeing Chris look so dumpy, right? So messy in the morning. And what he mentioned is something that would also drive me completely nuts. See, having been in the Marines, in the Marine Corps, and if you've been in the military, you'll definitely understand this where I'm coming from. In the Marine Corps, we do something that is considered blousing your boots. It's when you blouse your boots. So, there's like this little, I don't know, this like rubber band or something that you put into your pants, and then you lift your pants up so that your boots and your pants are separate from each other. I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyway, what the army does, and no shade to the army, love you guys. But the army, they like to stuff their pants inside their boot and then tie the boot. And as Marines, it's something that it would drive me absolutely nuts because we don't do that in the Marine Corps. All right. We don't stuff our trousers into our boots. We blouse our boots, and so we don't have to stuff it into the boot. And so yes, that is something that I would notice. But I think it's really weird that Troy noticed that. Was he in the military? I don't know. Again, maybe it is something that, it's a pet peeve of his. He probably saw Chris. He's always used to, seeing him very properly dressed, and then he sees him with his cuff all weird, right? Half of his knee is showing. His boots aren't even tied. So maybe, right? Maybe that's something that he would notice. Welcome to Silver. Let's celebrate. Noreen, welcome. Welcome to members. Yes, right? So that's something I would notice. But I don't know, you guys. You guys let me know. Is this something you would notice? Yeah, I can't stand my trousers dragging. Always get cuff bottoms. Yes. Hey, so yes, definitely is something, right? Definitely something that we do notice. Chris was always put together. I think that's a part of his OCD, so it's very noticeable. Right. Yes. Very, very good point. Very good point. So yeah, so it's definitely something that Chris was just used to dressing well, and then they saw him and they're like, what is up with him this morning? All right, let's go ahead and pull up the body cam footage just so that we can see Chris pull up, because he did pull up wearing something completely different. He is wearing a gray t-shirt because he changed. So let's just go ahead and watch. Here, let me go ahead and there we go. All right, let's go ahead and watch this and see what he's wearing.
I'm here. Hang on. Okay, yeah, get me on the phone. Okay, get Max on the phone.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
All right. So notice what Chris is wearing now. Right? We see what Chris is wearing now. He changed the shirt to the brand that Troy McCoy just mentioned. Ariat? Is that what it's called? Ariat? Yeah, it's not blue. So when did he change his shirt? Play the morning video of him leaving, please. It looks like the shirt he's wearing. Oh, that one. Yes. Yes. Because we do see him in the morning. Yes, I'll go ahead and bring that one up as well. Yeah, we see him in the morning. What it looks like to us, at least at that time, it looks like he's wearing a black shirt, but that's because, I don't know, it could be dark blue. And then we also see someone barefoot, right? We see someone barefoot. Was it Chris Watts? All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and watch that other video. We'll go ahead and watch that other video. I'll go ahead and pull it up here in a second. Let's go ahead and keep listening to Troy McCoy.
Him in a work setting,
Yes.
he's at least dressed. He's put together. I
Yes,
guess,
he's
would that
dressed
be a way to?
appropriate. Yes.
Okay, and
I
not
mean,
not sloppily.
no, he looks like, a field coordinator looks,
Okay,
because, the higher up you go and everything like that, people pay more and more attention to your dress.
sure.
So I always try to come to work looking as nice as I possibly can. I've only got what God gave me. So, but, he was always nicely dressed.
Okay.
And that was just kind of threw me off. So I gave him shit about it. I just made that comment,
Mhm.
slumming it today. And that was it. I mean, that's as far as it went. Chad laughed, Melissa laughed. That was all.
All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and watch the other video because yeah, I think we're having I don't know, a few disagreements on what we think was happening that morning. Um again, it's very hard to tell, so whatever you guys see, you let me know. What I see is a man or maybe who really knows, right? A person, a being walking by what looks like to be wearing only socks, but it's possible that they're only wearing shoes, right? White shoes. All right, let's go ahead and watch it from the beginning. I know that it takes a little while, but and then once we get closer to it, I will slow it down just so that we can watch closer. All right. Did we already miss the part where we see somebody walk by? All right, there he is. And what we see right now is there he is again. Right? He's wearing something dark. He wore yes, he wore different, no question. Yeah, let's go ahead. There's a part where you actually see him and that's after yeah, it's like right here. There he is. You saw him? All right. We are at okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and pause it. There he is. There he is. You see that? So here we see Chris. Let me see if I can make this just a little bit bigger. Okay. So here we see Chris wearing a dark long sleeve t-shirt with what looks like the boots that Troy McCoy is describing him wearing that day. Yeah, they look like Doc Martens. Yeah, they do. Yes, we did miss it, Cosmo Bear. Yeah, we'll go ahead and rewind it and see if there's another part. Yeah, look at him, right? Look at what he's wearing, okay? And he's definitely what he's wearing here is definitely very, very different than what he showed up in, right? What he showed up in is a gray t-shirt. That gray Ariat t-shirt.
Making. I'm here. Hang on. Yeah, keep me on the phone. Okay, get Max on the phone.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is
All right. And then here he's wearing this. So very clearly he changed his clothes. When did he change? Jeans are tucked in. Are jeans tucked in here? He's wearing long sleeves. Yeah, kind of yep, tooled up. Yes. Worst tree ever. Yeah, the jeans are tucked in. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. All right, let's see the beginning again. Right there. Did you guys catch that? Let's go ahead and see it again. I'm just going to go ahead and slow down the playback speed so that we can see it a little better here. All right, did we catch that? Let's go ahead and see it one more time. All right, okay, so here it is. All right, here, let me go ahead and just gonna zoom in a little more here so that we can see this better. Okay, so what I see here, right? This is what I see is the foot is here. It looks like he's not wearing anything. And a lot, yes, it does also look like it could be someone else, right? It kind of does look like it's someone else. They also look shorter, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Here, let me just go ahead and zoom in just a little more. I know it's like so, I mean, even if we zoom in all the way, right, it's still very, very blurry. Okay, you see that? So let's go ahead and watch it one more time as they walk by. What do we think? The walk does look different, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and watch again. I don't know. Do we think it's Chris? I don't know. It doesn't really look like Chris now. Yeah. It doesn't look like the person is wearing shoes, though. I still don't think they're wearing shoes. Chris was only 5'8" or 5'9". Yes. He's kind of short, says Nicole Kassinger. That is her only complaint about Chris, is that he's kind of short. Oh, but he's ripped. So sexy, she says. But she doesn't like that he's short. Oh, he's kind of short, she says. The only negative trait that he had, she didn't care that he murdered his whole family. Oh, he's short. Oh, Charlotte. I wish he was just a little bit taller. Everything else would be fine. Yeah, definitely no shoes. No shoes. He looks barefoot. It looks like he's just wearing, or it, right? Or they, them, whoever. Whoever is walking. We don't know if it's Chris or it could be Nicole Cassandra at this point. We don't know who it is, but the person, right? This being is not wearing shoes, in my opinion. And they do have a kind of a little, a little walk. They kind of walk like this. Oh, Christopher. I mean, who really knows? Who really knows? But this person who looks barefoot, right? Who looks like they don't are not wearing any shoes, walked out and got the pickup truck. Can you guys hear me? Oh, some of you guys can hear me. Yeah, he now wears orange jumpsuit for life. Yeah, no more choice in wardrobe. Yeah, exactly. Now he doesn't have to worry about what he's going to wear tomorrow. My favorite color is beige, but I get to wear orange for the rest of my life. Oh, poor guy. But all right, let's go ahead and keep listening to Troy McCoy and what he has to say, because now we know, right? We saw what he was wearing when he left, which does match what Troy McCoy was saying that he was wearing. And now we saw what he was wearing when he returned, right? Which is, we know, oh, you guys can't see it because it's all messed up now. But we know that he was wearing that gray long sleeve Ariat shirt. All right, let's continue.
What about his pants? What kind of pants was he wearing?
I believe those would have been. I think the manufacturer on those particular style pants is Bulwark,
Okay.
and he usually wears Ariat because they were a baggier pant than what I'm used to seeing him in.
Did you notice anything, besides the bagginess, anything else about his clothing?
No, I mean that was it. I knew he was wearing it had to have been an older shirt back from whenever, he was bigger, and then the pants and the boots.
Did you notice if his shirt was dirtier than normal?
No, it looked
His
clean.
pants dirtier than normal?
No,
anything like that?
everything looked clean. There was no stains on his pants. There was no stains on his shirt.
Okay.
Nothing.
Did he seem out of
Tired.
sorts? Was he tired, sweaty?
No,
acting different, more quiet than usual? I know you said he's a
well,
quiet
yeah,
guy.
he's kind of a quiet guy, but that particular day, I try to joke around because I joke around with everybody. That's just the guy that I am in the group, and he would kind of joke around a little bit and stuff like that, but that was it. He was, quiet. Some days Chris is, pretty talkative. You can have an interaction with him, and then other days he's more reserved and he really doesn't, engage with you whenever you do that because we joke about things. We both watched a lot of the same movies, and stuff like that. So we say stupid movie lines, and he
Okay.
just wasn't replying like he normally would. But I didn't think it was out of sorts at the time because of the fact that, okay, well maybe he woke up late. He's tired. I don't know.
So you guys,
All right. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, his when he's being interviewed by the news, that long shot of him, his legs look real short. Yeah, if you guys saw my video yesterday, the shot of him giving that interview, yeah, that's a never before seen footage of him standing. His legs are real short. Very long torso, short legs. But yeah, I think that's a very, what Troy McCoy is explaining here makes a lot of sense because he's noticing it's almost like he's talking about Chris's baseline, even, right? Of course, we're not going to get all, psychological here and trying to, analyze what Troy McCoy thinks, right? But it does sound like he already expected a certain behavior from Chris, but he noticed that that morning he was being very different. He wasn't his normal self. And that is what he noticed right off the bat from Chris. Yeah, like they like to talk about the same movies that they watch and whatnot. And this morning, Chris was very different. And that is something that Troy McCoy says that he noticed, other than being just very messy that morning. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
show up there, you mess with the back pressure line. Did you get it fixed at that point, or
We
is
did
it
not get it fixed, sir.
okay?
That line is still currently, as far as I know, locked out, tagged out.
Okay. So how long are you guys on scene to try to fix that?
Well, since they'd already diagnosed the problem, we wasn't there a very short period, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm guessing,
Okay.
that I was there.
Okay.
Because
So
they had already been there before me and diagnosed that it was leaking.
so once it's diagnosed that it's leaking, you guys figure out that you can't fix it right at the moment.
Right.
You guys move on.
Yeah, well, we have to move on. As long as it's locked and tagged out and that line wasn't going to interfere, they wanted us to open up that top field because that location is a Thames location, which is, the Thames is what helps with emissions. So we don't emit any gas out of the top of the
Sure.
V patch or anything. So they wanted that line open, and that's the only reason why it was open. Because Cody didn't even open that line until last week. So we went ahead and closed it, locked and tagged it out. The well was still able to run because it was almost a load out there. I think Cody said it had about 9 foot in it, makes about 2 inches a day. He said by Thursday or Friday that tank should be ready to haul. So that's what we did. We left it running.
Okay. So and just so I'm clear, everybody left when you guys left.
Yeah, they
Okay.
left, and then.
And did you guys return to the 319 at all?
No, sir.
That day?
I didn't return to the 319 that day. I went back over to the 1029.
Okay.
The 1029 pumping unit is where we were.
Everybody.
Yeah, well, Melissa, Cody was over there because Cody was already at the 1019 prior.
Okay.
And then Chris pulled
I'm sorry,
up,
is
and
it-
I pulled up behind him.
1019 or 1029?
1029.
Okay.
1029.
I'll make sure we're talking about the right one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
319s to 1029s.
Yes, I know.
1139s,
Yeah, there's so
Okay.
many different well names, man.
Yeah. Okay, so let me do that one again. So
sir.
everybody left,
Yes,
and then everybody went over to the 1029.
yes, sir.
Is that
The
correct?
1029.
Okay,
But
along
him and
with
I were
Cody.
the last ones on the 319 location.
Okay.
Because I was standing over by that valve that we locked and tagged out,
Mhm.
and Chris was over by his pickup. Melissa and Chad got in their trucks, and they drove off and said, "We'll see you guys at the 1029." I said, "Okay." So I grabbed his shovel, walked it over to his pickup, and he said, "No, there's still staining on that ground, so we need to cover that up." So he covered it up. We got in the truck. I told him I closed the gate. He left, and then I left.
What's the point of covering it up? Just 'cause
Covering
I'm
up
curious.
well, if a state inspector comes out and they find like a puddle of oil right there, then that would be a fine instantly.
Okay.
But if there's this staining on the ground, then you have a chance to investigate what happened. So we're still going to get the line fixed, but until the line was fixed, they wanted the line covered up.
Gotcha. Just curious.
Yeah, it's really interesting that someone was sent out to open the line before. Again, we don't really even, unless anybody in the chat understands what is being said here, unless you work in the oil field, it's really hard to understand the lines and everything that is being opened here. But from my understanding, it sounds like they sent somebody out there to mess with the Cervi 319. Right? Is that what it sounds like? Is that what it sounded like to you all? It's just weird, right? Why would somebody be sent out an entire week before? And see that that's the thing. They probably did send somebody out because there needed to be something fixed, to be fixed, and then Chris heard about it and then he decided, "Oh, this is where I'm going to dispose of my family." Like, what is happening here? Because this is very interesting, and this is where I believe this is where the explosion theory came from. Because of all of these moving parts. Because it does seem very convenient that someone was out there a whole week before, and then everything was already set up for Chris to just show up, dispose of his family, and then they were going to close all of Survey 319. He disposed of his children in an oil tank where they were never going to be found. Their little bodies, right, as gruesome as it is, their little bodies were going to fully dissolve. And I think that this is what he was banking on. He was hoping that no one would ever find them, that they would even drain all of the oil out, and that they would never know that there were two small bodies in there. Again, it's all just too convenient almost. How did Chris and whomever, how did they come up with Cervi 319 as the place to dispose of the family? Yeah, did they ever ask if the leak was staged? Yeah, too convenient. Yeah, exactly. Too convenient with the phone call, and then he happens to be standing in the parking lot. Right. All of it just kind of lined up for him, right? Let's go ahead and look at our calendar. Let's look at our calendar and let's look at the day, right? Let's go ahead and look at August 10th. Okay, right here. So on Friday, August 10th, it's the same day that Shan'ann took off for Arizona. And it's also the day that Chris Watts decides, "Oh, I'm going to drop off the fire stick." And all of these other things are happening, like the baseball game. And if we go ahead and look at Nicole Kassinger's phone logs, right? Even her phone logs are also very suspicious for the day because there's zero activity. Yeah, look at this. The entire day, all of Friday, August the 10th, very little communication between her and Chris Watts other than at nighttime. So it's just one of those days that really stood out for us. And we have a lot of things happening that just made it very convenient for Chris Watts to show up Monday morning and dispose of his family. Again, it could all be a coincidence, but it's too much to be coincidental, in my opinion. But what do we think? Cervi 19 was scheduled for demolition in September, but it was delayed because of this, right, until December. And the thing is that they knew this, right? They knew about the demolition. They had to have known. And because they knew that it was going to be demolished, Chris Watts decided to dispose of his family at the site that is going to get demolished and not at 1029, right? 1029 is not set to be demolished. So what better way to get rid of your family than to dispose of them in a spot that is going to be demolished anyway? They were probably together and not calling or texting. Exactly, Malik McMom. This is something that we have speculated on in the past because we don't see any communication between Nicole Kessinger, Chris Watts, or Jim on this day. And so what could have happened? Was it that they were all together and that's why they weren't texting? Because again, even if Nicole Kessinger is out with her friends watching a baseball game or whatever she was doing, she's gonna keep texting Chris throughout the day. I mean, look at all of this, right? All of her activity shows constant communication between her and Chris Watts. So it's really weird that on Friday, when all of that happened, there is no communication between them. Yeah, it's a staged leak. And Nicole was involved in the safety aspect at the company. And didn't NK have a call to a friend that deals with gas lines? Yeah. Yep. Cervi 319 was going to be decommissioned. Exactly. Eric Issa, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Let's celebrate. Celebrate. All right. Eric Issa says, I can't imagine Chris Watts actually thinking he was going to get away with annihilating his whole family. The plan was foiled by Nicole Atkinson. Exactly. Exactly. He thought he was going to get away with it until Nicole Atkinson showed up and called the police. But yeah, NK took the day off of Friday too. And that's the thing is Friday, Chris took the day off and he made it seem like he took the day off because Shan'ann left and Nicole Kessinger also took the day off. Of course, she said she was at the baseball game though, right? She was at the baseball game. That is her alibi, but they both took the day off. Very interesting that they both took the day off from work and they didn't spend the day together. How did they not spend the day together? They were obsessed with one another. How did they not spend the day together? Very, very, very weird. All right, let's continue.
No, that's fine.
All right. So you guys leave, go to the 1029.
Yes, sir.
And you guys stay there for the rest of the day?
I was there for almost the rest of the day. I didn't leave until around 2 o'clock.
Okay. What
But,
about Chris?
Chris, I'm thinking it's about 11 o'clock to noon is whenever, because he kept getting phone calls from a lady that was at the house, ringing the doorbell and everything like that, and couldn't get a hold of Shan'ann. Because she tried to call her, I guess, several times that morning and said that she'd missed the doctor's appointment or whatever that she had.
Okay.
So he was worried. He told me that he was getting worried about it because nobody could reach her. So about 11 o'clock or so, he told us he was going home. But when Chad and McNeil and I talked, I mean, I don't know if this would be anything that you guys could look into further for any kind of evidence or anything, but he told us that he had to use the restroom on the 1029. So he told me it was number 2. So he told us, well, it says, just go over there by that tank at the 1029. So he backed his truck into the sunflowers at the 1029 and used the restroom.
Okay.
I mean, that's not out of the norm for us because we don't have porta potties out
yeah.
there, but I mean, that is something that he did do on that location.
Okay. When did you and Chad kind of discuss things?
That was 2 months.
All right, so there it is. Oh my goodness, did I really just rewind it all the way? Oh my goodness. All right, so there it is. That is the part where Chris backed up into the sunflowers and pooped. But as we know, he also took photos of the sunflowers. Let's go ahead and pull up the discovery here because he did also take photos of the sunflowers. Where is it? If I can find it here somewhere. Oh, nope, no, that's not it. Yeah, he took photos of the sunflowers and now he's talking about backing up and supposedly pooping there. What does that mean? Do we think that he hid something there? What did he do there? Did he bury something? Was he trying to hide evidence? I thought that was very weird, especially because he's talking to his parents about it, and Ronnie seems to believe him. Ronnie believes everything that Chris Watts says, apparently. Okay, let's see here. Where are the photos? Okay, I'm just trying to pull up the photos here for you guys. I do like to have whatever it is that I'm talking about. I do like to have it next to us so that we can see it. All right, here we go. Found it. There we go. All right. So here we go. Here is the photo that Chris Watts took. All right, there it is. And as we see, As we see, this photo was taken possibly at 10:29. And notice too that Troy McCoy remembered very vividly that Chris backed up his pickup truck into the sunflowers, and this is the sunflowers that he took photos of. No, he did not bury anything, but the cops went back and uncovered it, and it was just poop. For some reason, maybe Chris or somebody said that they may have buried their dolls, but they found nothing, no toys or anything or blankets because he threw them away somewhere else. I think so. Rox and Troy said he believed Chris Watts was burying evidence. Yeah. Yeah, so what do we think? Yeah, he fertilized. He fertilized the sunflowers. Yeah, he should have taken pics of the poop for NK. Possibility that he really did take a deuce at this spot, but is it also possible that it was just a way to distract? And he did still take a poop because obviously, right, he just disposed of his whole family. So it's very possible he didn't get a chance to go to the bathroom before. And so he's like, yeah, I need to go. But at the same time, he took the opportunity to do what? Because why did he take this picture again? Why did he take this picture other than because Nicole Kessinger asked for it? If Nicole Kessinger asked for this picture, why would she ask for it? Did she ask for it as proof? Oh, Chris, send me a photo of my favorite flowers if you've done the deed. Is that what we think? Oh, Chris, sunflowers are my favorite. If you love me, you'll tell me you did the deed by showing me. And is that what happened? And so Chris is like, oh, she loves sunflowers. Let me take a photo and she'll get it. Because again, I think that they were talking in code a lot of the times. This is just my opinion, speculation, but I believe that a lot of their text messages back and forth, especially the one about the Lucky Charms, I think a lot of it is code. Remember, they were planning a murder, allegedly, right? Quadruple murders. So a lot of this had to have been done in code. Yes, he couldn't send a pic of the burial site. Yeah, wasn't one sheet in a garbage. Yeah, 2 sheets in the field. Yeah, at the gravesite. Exactly. That picture is weird. Yeah. And just like everything else that Chris Watts says, right? The blue shirt, the fact that he even mentions it and Troy McCoy mentions it again over and over. These are things that stand out. Why do they exist? And again, they can mean nothing. But I think that everything in this case means something. But anyway, let's continue.
Chris was over by his pickup. Melissa and Chad got in their trucks, and they drove off and said, we'll see you guys at the 1029. I said, okay. So I grabbed his shovel, walked it over to his pickup, and he said, no, there's still staining on that ground, so we need to cover that up. So he covered it up. We got in the truck. I told him I closed the gate. He left, and then I left.
What's the point of covering it up? Just
Covering
I'm
up
curious.
Well, if a state inspector comes out and they find like a puddle of oil right there, then that would be a fine instantly.
Okay.
But if there's this staining on the ground, then you have a chance to investigate what happened. So we're still going to get the line fixed, but until the line was fixed, they wanted the line covered up.
Gotcha. Just curious.
No, that's fine.
All right. So you guys leave and go to the 1029.
Yes, sir.
And you guys stay there for the rest of the day?
I was there for almost the rest of the day. I didn't leave until around 2 o'clock.
Okay. What about Chris?
Chris, I'm thinking it's about 11 o'clock to noon is whenever, because he kept getting phone calls from a lady that was at the house, ringing the doorbell and everything like that, and couldn't get a hold of Shan'ann. Because she tried to call her, I guess, several times that morning and said that she'd missed the doctor's appointment or whatever that she had.
Okay.
So he was worried. He told me that he was getting worried about it because nobody could reach her.
Oh, please. He was not worried. We all know he wasn't worried. Okay. Something just stood out. And again, please let me know if it's insane or whatnot. But okay. So he just talked about leaving. So Troy McCoy left Cervi 319 at around 2 p.m. is what he said, right? And then here we have Nicole Kessinger called Jim at around 3:32 p.m. Now, if we look at her calls here, right, we see these calls were received in Platteville, Colorado. And as we know, these two calls came from the what is it? Her spiritual advisor, some guy named Bob something. Okay. So these are these two calls, and they were received in Platteville, which is where Anadarko is. So we're going to go ahead and assume that when she received these calls, she was at work. But we don't know where she was between 6:17 and before her getting to work. Okay, so there's a lot of hours here that are unaccounted for. Troy McCoy left at 2 something is what he said, and then Nicole Kessinger was also leaving at around the same time. It looks like she probably left at around 3 or 3:30 because she's calling Jim and letting him know that she's on her way home. And then this is the important one. At 4:48, she gets an incoming call from that guy, right? She gets a call from her friend that worked as the other oil guy. Here, let's go ahead and pull up. Oh my gosh, where did our calendar go? There's like so many things here on my screens. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys. Yeah, I don't even know where the calendar went. Where did my calendar go? It just disappeared. Like what? Where did it go? Oh my god. But yeah, the calendar shows that she was calling, or she was receiving a call from her friend, right? A guy named Chris Getman. And Chris Getman, if we look him up, let's just go ahead and look him up real quick. So when we look up, oh my goodness, look at that. And again, guys, before I show you this, like I said in my last live stream, yeah, please don't go harassing anybody. All of this is just, we're looking into it because it's part of, our analysis that we're doing. Okay. But the phone call that we're looking at that Nicole Kessinger received was by him, right? This guy, Chris Getman, who, okay, when we see his work history here, we click on more, and this is what we see. We see that from July 2018 through August 2019, this person worked for C&J Energy Services as a wireline operator. So this person called Nicole Kessinger. Okay, he called her right here at 4:48 p.m. Okay, he called her at 4:48 p.m. Now, what is a guy that works at C&J Energy Services as a wireline operator doing calling Nicole Kessinger on the day of the murders? What is he doing calling her on the day of the murders? They spoke for 4 minutes. And it's one of the only times that we see Chris Getman get in touch with Nicole Kessinger. The other time that he gets in touch with Nicole Kessinger, let's go ahead and pull up Nicole's other phone records, is right, where is it? Right here. Okay, this one right here at 11:14 at 8:44 a.m., Nicole Kessinger wakes up and she calls Chris Getman. What is Chris Getman doing in Nicole Kessinger's phone logs on the day of the murders? A wireline operator for someone who doesn't work at Anadarko. And there is no communication afterward. Exactly, Shelley. There is no communication afterward. So Nicole Kessinger is in communication with a man working at C&J Energy Services as a what was it again? A wireline operator. For what reason? For what reason other than something is going on here, right? Something is going on. And I did look up what a wireline operator does. A wireline operator in the oil field, I looked up because I just wanted to see, right? I just wanted to see what is a wireline operator in the oil field. And this is what comes up. All right, so let's go ahead and just show you guys here real quick. I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller here so we can see. All right, there we go. A wireline operator in the oil field is a specialized technician responsible for lowering tools, instruments, or explosive devices into oil and gas wells, right, on cable. They operate, they operate high-tech winches and rig up equipment to run tools downhole, often working 24/7 in high-pressure environments. Yeah, now look at this, right? Rigging, installing, removing pressure, controlling, right? Well maintenance, right? Setting plugs, packers, maintenance. I looked that up a few weeks ago, but forgot. Yeah, and so these are all the things that we're looking at when we are looking into this case. We're looking at all the possibilities here. And it does seem like there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different people involved in this. Again, why is Chris Getman calling Nicole Kessinger on the day of the murders when he never called her any time before? He never called her before. He called her that one time. That's it. But anyway, I think that all of these are foiled plans. Let's continue. There we go.
So at about 11 o'clock or so, he told us he was going home. But when Chad and McNeil and I talked, I mean, I don't know if this would be anything that you guys could look into further for any kind of evidence or anything, but he told us that he had to use the restroom on the 1029. So he told me it was number 2. So he told us, well, it says, let's go over there by that tank at the 1029.
Mm-hmm.
So he backed his truck into the sunflowers at the 1029 and used the restroom.
Okay.
I mean, that's not out of the norm for us because we don't have porta potties out there, but I mean, that is something that he did do on that location.
Okay. When did you and Chad kind of discuss things?
Well, I spoke with him again today.
Okay.
He's like, you want to make sure that you bring that up to those gentlemen in case it can't help anything.
Right.
Because I talked to Chad and then I talked to Luke and told him that I was going to be coming in today.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Chad's the other field coordinator. So I was keeping in the loop with him, and I called him because Luke didn't answer the first time. So I just wanted to call Luke to let him know that I was coming into the office today to do an interview with each other.
Okay.
Okay. Can we back up to the 319 for a second?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
go ahead.
When he was he looking around, just get kind of the surroundings at all? Did you
Well,
notice?
Okay. Whenever we got ready to get back in our pickups and leave, he was messing on the phone, like texting or whatever. I don't know if he was texting the lady that was at the house or whatever the case may be. It didn't seem odd to me at the time because I thought he was walking toward the back of his pickup, and before we leave location, we're supposed to do a circle check, a 360 circle check. That means you walk all the way around your pickup to verify that there's nothing in your way so you don't hit it. So whenever I seen him walking, he walked just right past his truck, just a little bit, not very far, and looked out in the field like that, and then he walked right back, and that was it.
Did he do a full check, or did he look at a specific point?
No, he didn't look at any specific point. It was like his eyes were just kind of up in the like looking toward the sky.
Okay.
He just had his head up and just kind of looked around like that, and then turned around and walked right back.
So was he looking out into the field, or was he looking back over the
looking out
pad
into the field.
to the south?
Yeah, that would be. I guess that would be the south. I get confused when I'm not
Yeah,
there.
basically
Okay.
towards 76.
So-
All right, if
South
he's
is
parked
that
right
way.
here. Yeah, he walked right past his pickup, just a little ways, not like super far, but just right past his pickup because I thought he was doing a circle check. And then he looked out, just looked across the field real quick, and then he walked right back to his truck and got in.
So was he off the pad out here in the weeds?
Yeah, well, yeah, because way he parked his truck with his tailgate, his tailgate was right kind of by the weeds.
Right back here?
Yeah, right back here.
Okay. And he's looking off in this direction, is that?
Yeah, he was looking off in the, because he walked right past here, and he was looking back in here. I mean, it was just brief. It wasn't like he was staring or nothing like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, we can only imagine what Chris was looking like. I'm listening to Troy McCoy describe Chris looking out into the fields, and I can only imagine him doing this. Right? Because that's what we see him doing when he's freaking out, when he's watching himself in neighbor Nate's camera. That's what he's doing the whole time that he's being recorded by body cam footage. He's doing the most awkward things. He's crossing his arms. Facebook is a really nice machine. Yeah, it's really good for stuff like this. Yeah, when families go missing, Facebook is really good. It's a really, really helpful machine. So that's basically how I'm picturing Chris Watts that morning at Cervi 319. He had just disposed of his family and he's looking out into the field. Oh, I hope nobody finds them. I hope nobody's looking. Yeah, it's that same potato head face that he makes every time. I don't know. I just put my water jug in the pickup truck, and I also put my pens in there, and I also put my notebooks in there. And he always does his little freak out look where he's looking out. He wants to escape wherever he's at. That's what he was looking like. And that's what Troy McCoy is explaining right here. I can just see his face. Yes. His face was red. Yeah, that's why the dogs were trying to get to them. Yeah, a little too late. Third shifter. Hello, Sherry. Yeah, squirming. Yes, exactly. That's the word. Yes. He is squirming. And that's what it sounds like Troy is explaining here. Chris Watts was squirming. Yeah, the way that he parked his car and he was just looking out into the field. Yeah, it's because he was nervous. He was nervous that someone was going to find Shan'ann. I mean, where he buried her right next to basically where he parked almost. So what if one of his coworkers just walked out and then stumbled, right? That is crazy to think about. Wow. Let's continue.
He just walked back there, kind of glanced around, and then walked right back to his pickup.
Okay. But if you're doing a safety check, you should be looking
Yeah, if
here,
you're doing a
not
circle check,
here.
you should be walking right next to your pickup. You check your wheel wells and everything
Yeah.
to verify that there's nothing there or anything behind you when you go to back up, that you're going to hit, because we have a lot of operators hit fixed
I'm
objects.
sure.
So, yeah,
I would be one.
it's a big deal.
I'm
So,
sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything out here that would be of interest at all?
No, because I mean, the well pad for this site is just right here.
Okay.
This is just fenced off right out in here, because there is a fence around this whole
Mhm.
entire location, and then the gate right there. And we're supposed to keep the gate closed because the landowner or the gentleman that rents the ground doesn't want his cattle inside this, 'cause
Right.
doesn't hit any valves or
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
like that. So that's all there is right here, because the wellhead's here, your separator's here, your tank's here. That's the only thing that we mess with right there.
Okay. Fair enough. And then
All right, somebody just brought up a very, very good point here. That maybe he was trying to get somebody to not see that the sheet was out there. That's a question I've always had. Why did Chris leave the sheet out there? Was he planning on coming back? Did he put the sheet over Shanann's burial site and then put the rake over it and was hoping to remember that's where Shan'ann was so that he can come back and move her body? Because I think it's a very stupid thing that a murderer would do, to leave a white sheet out in a field where there is no white. A white sheet is going to stand out like a sore thumb. Why did he leave it out there? Because he's stupid. Yes. Yeah, it's because he's a moron. Yes. Yeah, I can definitely put up a poll. We can all vote. Is it because he's a moron? Is it because he's stupid? Is it because he's a potato head, or all of the above? All of the above, obviously. But I don't know. Did he just not bury the blanket? Was he supposed to bury the blanket? Or did he run out of time? This is another question that I have. Did he run out of time? Did he see his coworkers driving up and he saw the puff of dirt, right, being lifted up from behind. I picture it as, Rescuers Down Under. If you watched Disney's Rescuers Down Under, when you see the guy in the pickup truck and you can see it from far away because he's picking up all the dust. Is this something that happened and Chris just saw them and he's like, oh shit, I need to stop everything I'm doing and then come back later? Yeah, maybe he ran out of time, right? Yeah, stupid, moron, idiot. Yes. Yeah, he thought nobody would think to look for his family. Yeah, I bet he was planning on going back there. Yeah, Tootsie. And so this is something I've always thought about. Why would he leave? I mean, look at the field. There's no white out there. Everything is just natural colors. Everything is beige, right? His favorite color, beige. Everything is tan. Everything is sand color. That's why he changed his background to the sand dunes, because he loves tan. Oh, it's my favorite color. It's so vibrant, just like my personality, says Chris Watts. Is that why? Yeah, they all returned to the scene of the crime. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, he took the sunflower photo of NK. Yeah, is that why he took it? Oh, Nicole's favorite color is yellow, and mine is tan. It's the same, right? It's just a few hues off. We're basically the same. Probably, who knows? Again, they connected in the first 2 days that they met just because they had the same middle name. Oh, Chris, we are meant to be together. This is destiny, Christopher. Your name is Lee. My middle name is Lee too. Oh my God. Look, we have the same matching bald spot. We're meant to be. What's your favorite color? Beige? Mine is yellow. It's basically the same thing. That is how they became in love with one another. Oh, so romantic. Yeah, what do we think? I never knew Chris Watts pooped in the sunflowers. Yeah, neither did I, Tiger. Yeah, we learn a lot. We learn a lot. Every single time we go down this case, there's something new that we don't know about. Yeah, aren't you glad you know that now? Exactly. Aren't you glad now you know? Yeah, NK's favorite color, brown. Is that why he took the photos? That's what we're thinking, right? We think that he took photos of the sunflowers, but in reality, he took a photo of his deuce. Oh, look, Nicole. It's so pretty, isn't it? Can you see it? Can you find the difference in this photo? It's one of those, definitely one of those photos, right? The ones that you see in those old magazines. Find the difference. And then you just see that there's like a pile of poop there. And Chris is like, yay, you found the difference. Is that what's going on here? Trying to throw off the police with that? Yeah, again, what is this? What is the meaning of this, right? Find the poop, right? Let's go ahead and find it. Where is it? Again, I'm still not fully convinced, guys. I will say I'm not fully convinced that Chris took this photo as, I don't know, oh, find my poop, or trying to get Nicole Kessinger to fall in love with him even deeper. Look, I was thinking about you. Sunflowers. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, spot the difference. Yeah. Yeah, instead of following the yellow brick road, he was leaving a trail of poo. Yes. Find the smelly brick road. Can you smell it? Yeah, that's how you find the ending. Yeah, use your nostrils. Yeah, that's how you find it. Yeah, I thought she would have been taken to Mexico. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, great images, better than the other things we were doing out there. Yes. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Very, very interesting. It stood out to me. Let's continue.
When you got to the site, I think you said he had a shovel and he was already digging.
Well, no, the shovel was already, whenever I got to the 319, they'd already dug it up.
Okay.
His shovel was standing right next to the freaking catwalk. So whenever I walked up, his shovel was right up here.
Okay.
And the hole had already been dug.
How big
Right
of a
there. That big around.
How deep?
8 inches.
Okay.
maybe 8, 9 inches, because I don't think the lines are very deep underneath that berm, and then before they elbow and then come up right there by the tanks.
Mhm.
So you could see a little puddle right there of oil about that big around, and that's it.
Okay. Did Chad or Melissa have shovels out too?
No, not that I know of, because I think Chris had already done that, because
Okay.
that was the only shovel that I seen that was out of the pickup on location.
Okay. Did Melissa or Chad have any other tools out?
No, everybody just carries their crescent wrench.
Okay.
So that's our thing. As soon as we get out of the truck as operators, 90% of our job will focus on a 12-inch crescent wrench.
Okay.
So I always carry that in my back pocket, even when I hop out.
Okay, so the only shovel that was out was the shovel that Chris had already used, I assume, right? To bury Shan'ann? And this is the other thing that has never made sense to me, is that even if Chris Watts had an entire hour and a half to dispose of his family, he still had time to make it seem like he was working. And that's the thing that doesn't add up. Even with a full 130, or sorry, even with a full an hour and 30 minutes that he may have had to dispose of his family, it's still a little bit of time. I would argue that it's still a little bit of time to be able to do all of that. Okay? It's still a lot, okay? Again, we're looking at when Chris Watts arrives, and then by the time that his coworkers show up. Chris gets to Cervi 319 at 6:53, okay? So let's just go ahead and round it up. Let's just say 7 a.m., okay? Just for, math purposes. Let's say he shows up at 7, right? 7 a.m. His coworkers arrive, they don't remember, but they say they arrive around 8 a.m. or 8:30, okay? So that gives Chris around an hour to an hour and a half to dispose of his family. So even if he did all of that, even if the hole was already dug up a few days before, he still had to dispose of his family, bury Shan'ann, put the kids through the holes, because you know that he did that, right? We know that there was hair sticking out of the hole. And so, as gruesome as it is, in order for Chris to fit his children into that hole, he had to probably stomp them in. So he's doing all of this, and at the same time, he had time to make it seem like he was working at Cervi 319 before his coworkers showed up. So when his coworkers showed up, they still saw that he had been working on the leak. So again, it still doesn't add up, because that's still a little bit of time. Think about it. An hour and a half, it does sound like a long time. But the way that he disposed of his family is very physically, it takes a lot of physical energy. He had to be very, very physically active on August, right? So August 13th, which is the middle of summer in Colorado, okay? If you haven't been to Colorado, it gets hot as hell here, okay? It's so hot because the sun is just beating down on you, right? It is so incredibly hot. The sun rays here, you can feel it. And so he was doing this at 7 in the morning when it's already hot out. And he's doing this in an hour and a half. It seems like a little bit of time for him to be able to do all this. Yeah, he was, exactly, Shelly. And he was messaging at the same time. That's the other thing, right? That's the other thing that we have to take into consideration here, is that the guy was also messaging constantly throughout the whole morning. Let's see, where is it? Right here, right? So he's taking photos, right? He's texting, he's calling. All the while, right, he's digging stuff up. He's murdering children. And then he's still texting and calling people, hey, where are you at? Where are you at? Again, in an hour and a half, it's still a little bit of time for someone as dim-witted as Chris Watts. Yeah, and supposedly just dug the hole. Yeah, that's what he was doing when his sheet blew away. Yeah, exactly, Jerry. Is that what happened? It does sound like maybe he just ran out of time and his sheet blew away and he's like, oh crap. My coworkers are here. Is that what's going on? We don't know. Let's continue.
because we use them to change or turn the wing valves on the wellhead, the inlet valves, the separator, the dump valves, everything. We use the 12-inch for everything.
So if you jump out of your truck without the crescent wrench, it's kind of like you're useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I always give all the new guys heck whenever they jump out. I was like, you haven't been operating very long, have you? Because you forgot your crescent wrench. I was like, shit. So they'll go back and get it out of their pickup.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. And then, so Chris is getting phone calls and texts. Can't find Shan'ann.
Right.
And he says he's worried about her. And then he leaves at some point. Do you remember about when that was?
I would say between 11 and 12.
Okay.
Somewhere in that time frame window. I don't remember exactly. I know I'll wear a watch, but, I didn't think anything was
Didn't
out
pay
of the
attention.
norm
Yeah.
at
Okay.
all. So
No.
I didn't, attribute that to anything.
Yeah. And how far is it from the 1029 to the 319?
1029 to the 319. Like 5 minutes,
So it's pretty close.
10 minutes. Yeah, it's not that far away. I mean, you have to take that road, go out back out of the 319, then you head back toward that original gate.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you hit that intersection where you turn and go to the gate, you can turn right, and then you head up that hill just a little ways. And then, like I was telling you, that riverbed, and you cross the riverbed, and the 1029's right there.
Okay.
So all those wells are pretty short driving distance from each other.
Yeah. Okay.
They are a short driving distance, but they're still pretty far away when you think about the quality of the road, right? So distance-wise, yeah, they are very close distance-wise. But then the driving, right, the conditions of the road that you're driving on, these are dirt roads. So it is going to take you a little bit longer to get to certain places. But yeah, I think it's the way that he's explaining how they're moving around at Cervi this morning and how Chris is pretending, right? His coworkers think that he's worried, but he's not, right? He's only worried when Nicole Atkinson pops up on his Vivint app. That is when he becomes worried. Before that, though, let's go ahead and see what he was doing before that. Here, let's go ahead and pull up the discovery here. The discovery and the calendar. Here, let's go ahead and see what he was doing on that morning here. All right, so look at that. So he staged a call, right? He staged a call, and he's doing all of this. He's calling the realtor, he's calling the school, and all of that changes really when he receives his first Vivint alert. So this is the part where I wanted to show you guys right here. So the photo of the prairie is him being not as panicked. Okay, so here, where is it? Right here. So he takes this photo. He's not as panicked yet, but immediately, literally a minute, look at this. He took the photo at 12:16. He's like, I'm going to take this photo for my girlfriend. Takes it, sends it to Nikki. Hi, Nikki, thinking of you. And then literally a minute later, bling, he sees Nicole Atkinson at his front door. And that is when Chris Watts panics. That's when he's like, oh, shit. Someone is at the door. And then all of a sudden, that is when you hear Troy McCoy explain that Chris, all of a sudden, now he's worried. Now he's calling people. Now he's trying to get a hold of her. Now he's calling Nicole Atkinson. Why are you at my house? Leave. That is what Troy McCoy is explaining here, it sounds like. He's explaining the time where Chris responded to Nicole Atkinson and her Vivint, right? Her presence that prompted Vivint to let Chris Watts know, hey, Shan'ann's friend is at your front door and she's looking for her best friend. And that's when Chris Watts realized, oh, crap. The plan is foiled. And that's when we see him panic, right? Look at this. He only had a minute to enjoy the little photo that he just took. He only had a minute. Oh, I wonder what Nikki is going to say to me. Is she going to like the photo that I just took? I got a really good angle of it. I had to squat down to get this photo. And now he's expecting a response, except he doesn't get one. The response that he gets is the Vivint alert telling him that Nicole Atkinson is at his front door. Love it. Love it. And then that's probably actually when he shit himself. I wonder if the photo came before and then the shit came after. Because that's what it looks like, if anything, right? It looks like he took a dump because he was shitting himself because Nicole Atkinson is at his front door. That's the reason he pooped. In my opinion, at least that's what it's looking like this time, right? No way that they went to the bottom. Did you see it took the trucks and peeps involved to open at the bottom? Oh, right. Yeah, no, definitely not just Josie. Yeah, there's no way that they went in through the bottom side. No way. Yeah. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Again, I think it's everything that Troy McCoy is saying. It does sound like it's just an innocent everyday work activity. But when you listen closer, it does seem like there's other things going on. Let's continue.
And to your knowledge, he didn't go back to the 319.
No. But Chad and I were staying on location at the 1029 because we had to call, I think, Steve Ergonati, and he shoots fluid levels for us because we had that pumping unit going for almost 2 hours and the stuffing box was heating up. And the polish rod, because there was no fluid, it wouldn't bring any fluid down hole. So I don't know if something's happened down hole with the pump, but the stuffing box is right on top of the wellhead, and as soon as that thing heats up, you have to keep spraying it or putting grease on it or anything like that to keep it cool. Because as soon as you burn those rubbers, if any fluid does come up, then it would go all over the place.
Sure. Yeah.
So we had to shut the unit down, change out the stuffing box rubbers, and then we gave Steve Ergonati a call, and he has a echometer type deal where he shoots nitrogen into the backside of the casing so you can see the fluid level. So actually he shot it into the tubing, but you can see the fluid level on his computer because it can tell you that sound wave that runs down the well. It'll tell you where all the collars are and everything. And I stayed out there while they shot the fluid level.
Okay. All right, so you work on the 1029 for the rest of the day?
Yes, and about 2 o'clock I left. Chad was out there longer because he was talking to Steve.
Okay. And you left, and what'd you do after that?
I left and went straight back toward like Hudson
Mm-hmm.
and everything, so I could come back into the middle of the field. That way I could be there if anybody needed anything, because being a field coordinator, you have to wait until everybody leaves the field and everybody checks out to make sure everybody makes it home safe before you can leave the field. So then as soon as the last person checked out, I can give you the time on that too.
Yeah.
I wonder why none of them were asked about Nicole Kessinger. Were they asked about Nicole Kessinger at all? When was this interview? This was in August. Okay, so I wish they had asked the coworkers about Nicole Kessinger. Where was Nicole Kessinger when Troy McCoy was leaving or when he was going back to the office? Again, a very sloppy job. This is such a mess. This is why we're here, is because the police didn't do their due diligence. Ask, what about Nicole Kessinger? Did you see her? Where was she? Why did no one ask about Nicole Kessinger? Ever. None of the coworkers, they all work together. And there were so many texts between coworkers talking about how Nicole was, a homewrecker and like all of these things. So that means that the coworkers knew that something was going on between Chris and Nicole. It's not that hard to figure out. Every time there is a work romance, right? All the coworkers, everyone starts gossiping. The scuttlebutt. Oh my God. Did you see that Jake and Jessica are dating? Oh my God. Really? Didn't she work at the Victoria's Secret across the street? Oh, really? Oh my God. That's probably how he ended up getting discounts for his ex-girlfriend. Oh my God, is that how they met? Oh my God. Everyone talks about it. You can't hide a work romance. Everyone knows. Everyone will find out that you are in a work romance. People love to gossip. And so it's so crazy that no one asked any questions about Nicole Kessinger. It's so weird. Let's continue.
Spreadly bar. Okay, it's Thursday.
I have no idea what happened to the sound.
Sorry, there's been a lot of
Oh, there it
activity
is.
in group messages.
Yeah, I'm
over
sure
there.
there
I
has.
get it. Yeah.
There's Tuesday. Okay, this is what time I checked out. Headed out, Daniel Barr, and I checked out right there, right after Daniel Barr.
And what time was that?
So I'm guessing that was about around
Little after-
3:56
A
p.m.
little after 4, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe right at 4.
And Chris didn't send the message when he was leaving the field, so I put Chris's out as well.
Okay.
Everybody have a good evening.
Can you scroll up to the beginning of the day? I understand that.
Oh yeah,
usually,
that's fine, sir. No.
When you check into a site too, most people will use the group me to say, "Hey, I'm here," or "I'm over here."
Okay,
or
that's
whatever the case is.
Saturday, Sunday, because this is Victor Zimbala. He worked the weekend.
Okay.
All right, and then Cody at 6:30 or 6:28 a.m. in the field.
Yeah.
We're out in the field. I don't know. Luke saying that Alex is on PTO.
Okay.
So Tony or Robbie to please cover that route. And I got a O2 hit at 11:21 a.m. on my gas monitor.
Okay.
Because I
Okay. Yeah, somebody just said something about the safety issues as well. That's another thing. Why didn't the police ask Nicole Kessinger about the safety and her role in at Cervi 319? Kevin very briefly, he kind of just glazed over it, right? He's just like, "Oh, yeah, you do safety, right? Oh, it doesn't matter." Next question. He didn't challenge her or ask her, "What is your responsibility at Cervi 319? How were you responsible for that leak in the morning? Did any of the coworkers have to go through you first to then be able to go and fix whatever leak is out there?" Zero questions. She is the safety officer. She is a geologist, right? She was entrusted with making sure that whatever was going on with the oil and the tanks, that it was safe for the employees and that it was safe from liability for Anadarko. And since everything revolved around these tanks, I think it's so crazy that she wasn't asked about this. How is she not asked about any of this? This is so crazy. Unbelievable.
was getting a pipe wrench out of my toolbox, and if you stand too close to that exhaust while your truck's running,
Oh yeah.
it'll give you a hit. So the IOC called me three
Things kind of
times.
sensitive.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
they had to call me 3 times because now anytime our monitors ding or we get a hit,
Yeah.
the IOC calls to verify that we're okay.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
Okay. Would it be unusual for people to not check in on grouping?
no, not all the time.
Okay.
I mean, if you're out in the field, and as long as it's usually after 6:30 ish, Alex Ray, he'll always send a message whenever he's out in the field, and usually Alex gets out there real early, like 5:30. He's almost like my alarm because he sends a message whenever he gets out to the field. But he was off all the way from Monday till Thursday, I believe.
Okay.
And
What
that's
about-
on Luke's calendar down there if we need that. So.
What about for Chris? Does he usually check in?
No, usually he comes to the office.
Usually comes to
Yeah.
the office.
Because usually we just see all each other out in the office because he usually carries a big red jug that he fills up with water every morning. It's about yay big, and he always gets water at the ice machine down there in the break room.
So for Monday, would it have been unusual for him to not stop at the office first?
Well, he told me on Friday that he was going out to the 319
Right.
to check out that leak.
Okay.
So,
And again, another reason why he didn't have a reason to stop over at the office because he usually stopped at the office to see Nicole Kessinger. But Nicole Kessinger wasn't there that morning. She wasn't at work. From what it looks like, she ended up clocking in around 2 p.m. Again, we don't have the exact time and we can only speculate and guess based on her phone records, right? That's the best we can do. We don't know what time she clocked in. I mean, look at this. From 6:16 a.m., which we know she wasn't at work at 6:16. I mean, come on, what is she? Employee of the week? Oh, I'm here on time. I'm here so early. Does that mean I get an extra 5 gift cards? I'm just going to write them to myself. Yeah, I got here early 3 days in a row. Is that what she's doing? Come on. Of course not. right? We're not gonna go ahead and believe that she was employee of the week and that she got to work early on time. Of course not, right? The other thing is that she's pinging in Frederick. It's nowhere near Platteville, right? And even the road that she would have to take to get to work wouldn't take her anywhere near Frederick unless she wants to go out of the way. So we don't know, right? But we can speculate she was in Frederick. And we don't know where she was after that because we have no information on her whereabouts. The only thing we know is that she was at work at 2:28 because it's Platteville, and we can assume that she picked up the call while she was at work. And again, we don't know what time did she show up. But that's another good question. If Chris Watts is opening the hatch of an oil tank, why wouldn't that set something off? I mean, these are oil tanks. This is crude oil. Not only is it detrimental to your health if you inhale it, but you can blow stuff up with it. It's very dangerous to be opening hatches full of crude oil in it, right? So, how did it not set off any alarms? Who was in charge of making sure that people aren't opening hatches? Were there any alarms? Did Anadarko have alarms on these hatches? Can you just open it and it doesn't notify anybody? Again, lots of questions, right? These are all the questions I have. How did this happen without anybody noticing that Chris Watts was opening hatches at 7 in the morning when he shouldn't be? He needs to be working on an oil leak, not opening hatches. Two of them. Two separate times he opened hatches to two separate tanks and no one noticed? Very, very weird. Yeah, what do we think about that? Yeah, there's some sort of sensor. Yes, exactly, Shelly. There has to be some sort of sensor. That's a good question. I'm going to write it down. Are there sensors on the tanks? Yeah, if anybody in the chat knows somebody who's in the oil field and has information about this, pick their brain, ask them questions. Hey, you work in the oil fields, right? Is this normal? And yeah, let's just see what we can come up with. Of course, every company is different. Not all companies do this the same, but I do believe that if it's an oil field and if you're in the business of selling oil, you have to follow certain rules, right? I would assume. But anyway, let's continue.
We didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, but just overall, is
Just
that
so yeah, because he always comes to the office.
okay?
You know?
Always or
I would
most of the
say
time?
pretty much always.
Okay.
You know, he's there because that's where him and I meet because we're both field coordinators, and he'll talk to me about any issues that we're going to have out in the field that day or what we need to do.
Okay.
So we'll just go over that, and then we'll head to whatever locations we need to. But I always meet him every morning down there in the break room.
Okay.
Do you know why he was so quick to jump on this 319
No, sir.
to go check it?
I don't.
I mean, because we're all the way back at Friday,
Right.
and he's talking about, hey, I'll go Monday and do it.
Right. No, and Cody's like, okay. Because Cody's the operator out there, so.
And why wasn't Cody fixing it?
Well, Cody found the stain, and Cody found that stain later on in the evening. I can see what time on Friday. Cody
Okay.
called me.
Yeah.
And he said he was going to run back to a couple different locations and back to at least one of the locations out there where he had some oil gator.
Mhm.
And that's just some stuff that we can mix in with the ground, any kind of oil that sets in there, and that'll help break that stuff down and everything and remediate that stuff.
Okay.
Let's see.
Would it be typical for somebody to declare ahead days out, like before the weekend starts, that hey, I'm going to be doing this, or would that usually be something you do the
Well,
day morning of?
Chris just said since he lived on 52, right off Highway 52, that it's a straight shot from him to leave his house, go straight to Hudson, and jump on 76
Okay.
and go out there and verify it. And usually when we verify a line that's got a leak, we usually have more than one person out there.
Okay.
That way, if we do send pressure to that line, one person could be here verifying, the other person could be at the separator sending the pressure. That way, if there is a leak, we can hurry up and shut it off.
Okay.
That way we don't have excess contamination.
Exactly. Exactly. He just brought up a very important point. If you're working in the oil field, how are you not going to have a second person there with you? What if you hit a line and then you just blow yourself up? There's so much danger going out there by yourself. I mean, come on. We use the buddy system everywhere in the military, even if you're just going to the bathroom, right? If you're going to the bathroom, you need a buddy with you. Hey, I need to go to the porta potty. You mind going with me? I don't know. I might step on a landmine. What? Really? We're here. We're in Virginia, right? How are you going to step on a landmine? But you never know. You never know. The military has the buddy system because you never know. How do you not have the buddy system for oil fields? And Troy McCoy is talking about how there was a buddy system. It seems like, yeah, if you're going to go out and fix an oil leak, you're going to go with two people at least, right? At the bare minimum, so that you don't drill something and it just like petroleum is exploding in your face. How was he allowed to go by himself? Where was the safety officer at? Where was Nicole Kessinger and her safetiness? I'm here. I'm the safety officer. I say you can't do that. Right? She wasn't anywhere around to tell Chris, you can't do that. That's against safety protocol. She wasn't there to manage. Yeah, Chris wasn't sick. Yeah, did he leave these somewhere? He wasn't sick that day. You think he'd get sick inhaling crude oil. Yeah, but NK and Jim were sick that day. Exactly. And this is where a lot of the speculation comes, right? That maybe it was Nicole Kessinger and Jim who were out there at Cervi 319 disposing of the bodies of Celeste and Bella, because they were the only two that were actually sick. And of course, you do have to take that into consideration. When you are inhaling crude oil, that is going to make you sick. It is strong. Could you imagine opening the hatch and you're letting out all of that gas that is just sitting at the very top of the tank, right? All that buildup, and you just let it out. If you inhale that, it's going to make you puke. It's going to make you sick. And I think, yeah, it's another important thing to take into consideration, that Chris wasn't sick. I think Jim and NK were probably helping, yeah. I still think Shan'ann and CC were taken out there earlier. They were taken out the back. Rox, can you look into the missing hammock? Off the back deck, frame was there. Hammock was missing. Interesting. Very, very interesting, Macker. I've never heard about the hammock before. See, just another thing to look into. And again, it could mean nothing, right? They probably just didn't like the hammock. They got rid of it before all of this happened. But who knows? I think everything in this case is important to look into. Yeah, he needed to not smell so organized. Yeah, that's another thing. If you're smelling crude oil, if you're in the presence of crude oil, it's going to be absorbed by your clothing. You're going to smell like it. Let's continue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Yeah, that makes sense.
whenever Cody Roberts called me the last time, because I called him and asked him how it was going, and then he called me again whenever I was in the parking lot on Friday of that week. It was at 3:13 p.m. whenever Cody Roberts called me and identified that there was a leak out at Cervi Ranch, or at least at the time he suspected that there was a leak.
Okay.
And I told him, don't worry about it, dude. It's Friday, we'll double check it on Monday. We can go out there on Monday morning and verify. And that's whenever Chris said, I'll go out there on Monday morning.
Okay.
So.
Is he usually one to volunteer for something like that?
Yeah, usually he is. I mean, he's really good about doing that stuff.
Let's go to Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday morning, tell me what you do.
Tuesday morning, I come into the office, meet with the group, talk about whatever we got to do that day. I know that we had training set up to go, because Luke sent out a message for training that we had to have at the Aquaterra State. So I went to the Aquaterra State.
First?
No, not first. I'm trying to pull it up for you.
Sure.
Okay, we're still on Monday. Let's go to Tuesday.
Did you have any contact with Chris on Monday evening?
Monday evening, text messages I gave you.
Yeah, I think
I just sent him a
just asking
text.
how he was.
Okay.
Chris was pretty short, or just saying.
Yeah, none of his replies were very long.
No.
All right, I just want to go through some of these calls here. Or sorry, not these calls, these text messages between Troy McCoy and Chris Watts. Okay, so these are the ones, again, I just wanted to look through them very, very quickly just to see if anything stands out here. And here it is, right? So we see the very first one.
Is Ruggin.
It says, I'm on PTO tomorrow, forgot to tell you. I will meet up with you for the Fire Stick sometime tomorrow, if that's cool. Again, this is Troy McCoy, right? So the guy speaking here, right? Troy McCoy is saying he's going to meet. Yes, that's fine, sir.
About an hour.
Kind of moved a little bit fast there, right? And then, don't let Robbie steal your thunder, says Chris. What time do you want to meet up for the Fire Stick? Whenever, buddy. What area are you going to be close to when you leave? And then he says 44.
About an hour from Frederick, also, do you think?
Right? It says, I will start heading that way now. When you leave, call me so I know where at. Then Troy McCoy says, here, parked next to the orange 5-0. Thanks again, man. I appreciate it. No problem. Look at the time, right? 4:53. 4:53. Let's just go ahead and look at Nicole Cassinger's call logs again from that day. Nothing. Okay, nothing. That was around 4:53. So look at that time. So it's around this time. After this call, whoever called her incoming call for 2 minutes. So after that, we see Chris Watts meeting up with Troy McCoy. All right. And then no problem. Quick question. How do I find SOPs? I found it, right? Same day, 7:57 p.m. Let's go ahead and look at Nicole Cassinger's call logs, right here. So around 7:57 p.m., right? That's when Troy McCoy and Chris Watts are talking about SOPs. Again, zero communication between Nicole Cassinger and Chris Watts during that time.
Right now 52, and as soon as you get to Hudson, so.
Been trying to get Pulse Secure to load up. I got lucky, LOL.
From Frederick to Hudson, I don't know how long that would take, sir.
Right, there's more stuff here on Friday. I'll do it, right? Says Chris. Classic. Right, he's laughing. I hope everything is okay, man. If you need anything, let me know. And then this is where we see this. On Monday at 1:13 p.m., we see Troy McCoy has already realized that something's going on. I hope everything is okay, man. If you need anything, let me know. This is at 1:13, okay? 1:13 p.m. Let's go ahead and pull up the calendar. Let's go ahead and pull up the calendar of the same time. So at 1:13, Troy texted him, hey, I hope everything is okay. Chris Watts arrives at home at 2:07. Chris Watts is saying, on my way home, please don't call the police at 1:05 p.m. So it does kind of match, right? We're seeing what's happening. So Chris might have seemed like he was freaking out at first, but when Troy McCoy realizes that something is going on is around 1:13 p.m., which is around the same time that he got the Vivint alert, right? He got the Vivint alert at 12:17, and that's when Chris Watts starts to panic. Holy shit, Cassie is texting me. She's telling me to go home and find my wife. Oh my God. And that is when Troy realizes, holy shit, something is going on. But it really only happened when stuff starting to fall apart, right? That's when things started to fall apart, is when Chris Watts is starting to shit himself. Isn't that crazy? Isn't this crazy? Prior to 1 p.m., it seemed that his coworkers were just like, yeah, I don't know, Chris might be having issues with his wife. We don't really know. It was only after that, when the plan fell through, that all of a sudden, everyone's like, holy shit, something serious is happening, isn't it? Wow. Thank you so much, Eric Issa. Thank you. Appreciate the $5. Oh, let's celebrate, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me and the channel. Oh, I appreciate you so much. Yeah, but isn't this what in the world?
So you gotta go through 4
And then look at
buttons.
this. Look at this. 227. Cops are here. Thank you so much, Hurt Locker. Aw, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for the $10. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times. Come on. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Look, cops are here. 2:27 p.m. Let's go ahead and look at the calendar. What is he doing at around 2:27 p.m.? At around 2:27 p.m. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Shan'ann's phone receives the text messages at 2:14. So around that time is when Chris Watts is texting his friend, cops are here. Yeah, the cops have been there. But he only texted Troy McCoy that the cops are there after Shan'ann's phone comes back on. It's only after the cops found Shan'ann's phone that Chris is letting everybody know the cops are here. I wonder if Chris was hoping that maybe the cops would just leave and then he wouldn't have to tell people that the cops are there. I bet he was just, you know, crossing his fingers so hard, and even his toes, right? He's even crossing his toes and his eyeballs. He's like, oh, I really hope that the cops leave so that I won't have to tell people that my family is missing. Except he starts telling people, yeah, the cops are here. My plan has fallen apart. The cops are here.
So imagine that probably.
Right. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. If it gets crazy and you need a place to stay, you're more than welcome at my place. Thanks, man. I truly appreciate it. Truly, with 2 exclamation points. This is letting you know, oh, he understands. He knows that I need him right now. Look at that. At 8 p.m., let's go ahead and look at what Chris was doing at around 8 p.m. Nothing. Look, we don't have any information here. Here, let me just go ahead and bring it up a little bit more so you guys can see it. Oh, why am I not able to bring it? Oh, there we go. Right here. See, nothing. This is when the cops are there, right? The cops are kind of just like watching him. He's calling around, doing all kinds of nonsense. And no news, man. Police searched the entire house.
Maybe to get to Hudson.
At 8:18. Sorry to hear that, man. I will keep praying for you guys that everybody is found and returned home safely. If you need anything, just let me know. Thanks, man. And then
I don't know, from Hudson to Rogan on the interstate.
And then we see the message that comes in on Tuesday. Hey, sorry to bother you, but just wanted to make sure that you were hanging in there, man. I hope we will have answers soon. I just want to let you know that we're thinking of you, praying for you and your family. Like I said before, if there's anything that you need, I can just that I can do, just let me know. All right. And then look at Chris Watts' response. This has turned into a nightmare. Whatever this is, right? Then Troy McCoy responds with, I'm truly sorry, man. Right? A lot of Trulies in here. I wonder if that's their favorite drink. Trulies. This has turned into a nightmare. This, right? The key word is this. What is this? His family is missing and he's calling it, this has turned into a nightmare for me. Ugh, what an inconvenience. Wow. Yeah, a nightmare and a circus, dude, he says. I just want them to come running back through the door.
5 miles an hour.
And then look at what else he says. I'm guessing everyone at work knows. Yeah, he wants to make sure, oh, I want to let my friend know that I do miss my family. I want them to just come through the door. But also, do people at work know? Do they know that I was cheating on my wife with Nikki? Yeah, do they know now? That's what he's worried about the most. Eileen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the $10. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, let's go ahead and celebrate, guys. Thank you so much, Eileen. Yeah, Yeah, it's a circus. He calls the disappearance of his family a circus. They all know it's all over Facebook, says Troy McCoy. And that's when Chris Watts realizes, holy shit, everybody knows.
Probably
Yeah.
25 minutes, 30 minutes,
Okay.
I'm guessing. And then
Some people have been asking me what's going on, and I tell them I don't know anything other than what the police are saying. I hope they can find them soon for you, man. If you need to get out of the house for a bit, you are more than welcome at my place.
it's a little
I know, man. Thanks. No problem, says Troy McCoy. Right. So again, we're seeing this communication between Troy McCoy from Troy's perspective, right? If we're reading his messages, they don't look all that suspicious to me. Really, the only thing that stands out about Troy McCoy to me is just it's how he explains what was going on that morning, and also the fact that he went back to Cervi 319 the following day. So there are a few things that are a little bit strange with him. But from his text messages, I don't get anything. I really don't, you guys. You guys let me know if there's anything that sticks out for you. But again, other than the weird inconsistencies with his story and the few discrepancies, nothing really stands out to me that Troy McCoy was in any way, knowledgeable about the fact that Chris was going to murder his family. And if there is any type of weird, conspiracy, I don't think that Troy McCoy thought that Chris was going to murder his family. It was probably something else, right? Who knows? Maybe it wasn't about the family and it was about an explosion the whole time. Which, of course, it's definitely a criminal offense. You should not be blowing up your work site, but I don't know. Again, this is just me, speculation. This is just my opinion, but I don't think that Troy McCoy was involved in the annihilation of the family. And if there is anything suspicious about him, it's probably relating to his work ethic, in my opinion. It just sounds like his work ethic was a bit off. Maybe he was always late. He wasn't supposed to be at Cervi at that time. He was, screwing off. Who knows? But it sounds to me more like he was just trying to protect his own butt, against his employer. But again, you guys let me know. I don't think Troy McCoy did anything. Yeah, we have cried more for Shan'ann, Bella, and Cece and Nico than he ever did. Absolutely. Yeah, they were family first, so he was riding that wave. Yeah, no, nothing about Troy. NK and JG. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, his bowel tightness. What? Yeah, he was a decoy for picking up the call when Chris Watts go out to fix the leak. Yeah. And so what it does seem like, right? Just going through what we know so far, maybe Chris Watts and who knows, allegedly Nicole Kessinger, maybe they were using these people for their own, sinister plans. But these people just didn't know that they were being used. That's something that I have speculated about Jim as well. And, maybe some of you might not agree with me, but I do believe that if Jim was involved, he was involved unknowingly. I think that he was brought into it not knowing the full extent of what was going to happen that morning. And again, that is just my opinion, just based on, again, everything that we're seeing and the evidence. But all right, that is all. Yeah, that is all I have for you today. We are almost done with Troy McCoy. We will be done with him in our next live stream. And I do want to listen to everything. Every single interview is important in this case because we just need to hear what everybody else said. So we will be listening to Troy McCoy in one of our future live streams. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for joining today's live stream, guys. I love you all so much. Yeah, the best way that you can help out the channel is to share. Go ahead and like this live stream. Go ahead and share it. And yeah, just get it out to more people. And let me know. I know in our last live stream, we talked about putting up a poll so that we can talk about other cases. I still want to do that. But I do want to ask you guys, do we want more live streams? I'm seeing a lot of requests from you guys. Some of you want a live stream every single day, Which again, you guys, I would absolutely love to. I would love to do a live stream every day if that's what you guys want. And of course, if it's, feasible, right? If I'm able to do it. But yeah, if you guys do want to see a live stream every day, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would love to. I would love to hang out with you guys every day and discuss, whatever we want to discuss, whether it's Nicole Kessinger, Chris Watts, or other crimes, other things that you guys want to talk about. Yeah, let me know. I'd be more than happy. And of course, all of it depending on my schedule, which of course I have to look over at the calendar. But yeah, if you guys want to see more live streams, let me know. And of course, I will always keep making the videos. And I am getting very close to having a schedule that we will all be able to follow soon. I do want to get to the point, and I have been saying this from the beginning that I started my channel. I do want to get to the point where you guys know exactly, and I know exactly the days that we have live streams, and so that we have a weekly schedule of what to expect for the channel. And so, yeah, you guys let me know. Hey, I'm here for you guys. You have made this YouTube journey so incredible. I am so appreciative and incredibly grateful of each and every one of you. We have created such a lovely community here. I love it. I love talking about this case and just everything, right? Everything else with you guys. So, again, yes, I'd love I'd love to sit here and just exchange jokes. So, whatever you guys want, whatever you guys want. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. If you could talk about marine experiences. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, guys. You guys let me know. Yeah, we're here all for the same reasons. And we're also here for the community and for justice. So, thank you all so much for joining today's live stream. Very special thanks to my members, a special thanks to my moderators. I love you guys. Thank you for keeping our chat safe and welcoming for everybody. And thank you to my subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you again tomorrow. Our live stream tomorrow will be at the regular time as always, 11 a.m., unless, of course, I forget another VA appointment, which I don't have, I hope, right? Let me just check. I don't have anything going on tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. My time. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Bye.